Hey guys, it's Diesel12, and I'm here to talk about my favorite cartoons from the past and modern eras. So, of course, we're going to talk about some of my favorite ones, and then on the next video, I'll be talking about my least favorite cartoons of past and modern. So, we're going to start off with a few of my favorite 1980 cartoons. And that is, one of them is called Cops. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, Cops. It was a TV show back in the day. But did you know that in 1980, while Cops was still in its prime, there was a kids cartoon called Cops. That's right. It was basically, them fighting crime. And it was good. I remember the premise, but it was so good. Basically, and I'll leave some videos of the theme songs to the episodes and the shows that I'm talking about. Another 1980s classic is Transformers. Now, as you know, Transformers has been a part of my childhood and still a part of my adulthood. And this cartoon was epic. It had fights. It had just giant robots kicking each other's butts. And I gotta say, when I first watched the show, I was intrigued about this. I even like Megatron, a villain, and Starscream. You know, his voice was kind of annoying. He's still pretty good. In fact, even the modern versions of Transformers I like. So there's your modern one. Another 1990s cartoon I like is Sonic the Hedgehog. Two versions. There's two versions that were back in the 1980s. There's the afternoon versions, the weekday cartoon version, and then the weekend version. The weekday version was more bright, colorful, comedic. I mean, yeah, and we'll talk about the weekend one here in just a second. And Eggman was more of a comedic villain. But the weekend one was more dark. It was basically the post-apocalyptic version of Sonic's world. Some people like to call it Sonic SATAM, which obviously meant Sonic Saturday Morning. And it was more dark. It had more characters. It had Sonic, Tails. It had Sonic Acorn. It just had a bunch of characters. I know this is going to sound weird, but no one was Jim in the holograms. I don't know. I like the cartoon. I mean, my dad didn't, obviously, because it's more like a rock kind of cartoon. But it was pretty good. And then, of course, we have to talk about the cartoon that I used to watch as a kid and would watch today. My Little Pony, G1. That cartoon was obviously amazing. So, let's move on to the 1990s. Forward. Where we got new cartoons. And, actually, a couple of them are from what was called the Disney Afternoon. Now, the Disney Afternoon was a collection of cartoons. 4 cartoons. One with an episode per 30 minutes. There was DuckTales. There was Winnie the Pooh. Bonkers. Gummy Bears. Tailspin. And if you see my video on my other channel, you know how much I hate the video game. Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers. Gargoyles, which I didn't watch. My dad thought it was too dark. And I think there was one more. Oh, Darkwing Duck. All really good cartoons. And among the mix was a cartoon. And at the very butt end of its run, we got another cartoon called Timon and Pumbaa, which was a pretty good cartoon. I didn't watch much cartoon back in the 1990s because I didn't much care for them. But I think there was another. Oh, and I also forgot another one from 1980, Mask. Not The Mask. I'm talking about Mask. And basically, Mask it was kind of a Transformers kind of cartoon, but you had these people get into these suits. It was pretty cool. Also, back in the 1990s, I got into anime. Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Z. And, let's see, there was Sailor Moon. Voltron. Great cartoon, by the way. Inuyasha. Yes, I know. Inuyasha's more of an adult anime, but I didn't care. Yu Yu Hakusho. Let's see, what was there? Also that was an anime. There was another, Megas XOR. And then, there were cartoons on Cartoon Network that were back then. By the way, I said this is going to be a Cartoon Network one. But I figured we'd do a little bit of cartoons that weren't part of Cartoon Network as well. And then we had cartoons like Dexter's Laboratory, Powerpuff Girls, Teen Titans, which came later on as part of the Cartoon Network. Great Adventures of Billy and Mandy, which I thought was going stupid. There was another one I like. Oh, Courage the Cowardly Dog, which I talked about during my Courage the Cowardly Dog Halloween marathon. It was not a cartoon. I don't remember the name of it. Oh, Johnny Bravo. And obviously, that cartoon is a part of my childhood as well. But I also forgot another one, which is still running to this day, Scooby-Doo. And that's another one that has a modern cartoon to it. And then we get to and now we're going to go into the 2000s to present. So, in the 2000s, I really didn't get into much of the cartoons back then, but some of my favorites are Ben 10, the original Ben 10, the trilogy. It was basically a superhero. Superhero Squad. For those of you who aren't familiar, Superhero Squad is basically the Avengers in cartoon form. Before Disney took it over, it was a part of Cartoon Network. Clone Wars was another one that was good. Not a good anime. There was another. Hi Hi Puffy I'm Yubi. Some people don't like that cartoon, but I do. Total Drama Island. Any other series of the Total Drama. Don't get me started on that. That cartoon is stupid. I don't like it. I don't like how they changed the characters. It would have been funny if they had turned them into kids, but added the same flair as Total Drama Island. My Pony, obviously, Friends and Magic is another cartoon that I like. Transformers Prime, which is basically a retelling. technically is a retelling of the cartoons back then, but I also got Spider-Man. That was another cartoon, back in the 80s. And the Time Detective, I started watching in the year 2000s. So that was a pretty good cartoon. I'll talk about that cartoon eventually. It's pretty good. Digimon was another cartoon that I started watching in the 90s. But, let's see. There was another cartoon in the 2000s on Cartoon Network. Adventure Time kind of started in the 2000s. Late 2000s, but still. The Misadventures of Flapjack. Chowder. There wasn't a lot I watched in the 2000s, but because I was kind of getting off the whole watching cartoons and playing video games. I mean, I did watch cartoons, but I didn't. Then there was Toonami. Toonami was basically all the anime that were out at the time. Space Ghost, Coast to Coast. It's still on, but it's on at night now. Like I said, I didn't watch very many. Oh, Lois Pet Shop. That was another cartoon I saw in the 2000s. Great cartoon, by the way. And then we have. I kind of watched The Lion Guard for a little bit, but kind of lost this interest in it because it wasn't The Lion King. It had a little bit to do with it, but not much. I'm trying to think. Was there another cartoon I watched in the 2000s? Oh, Steven Universe. Great cartoon. I thought it was going to be stupid, but I actually enjoyed it. And and there are a lot of great 2000 cartoons, but some of them were just rehashes of cartoons back in the day. Like, for example, Sonic Boom was a cartoon that was awesome. And before you ask the all-important question, did I ever watch that Let's Be Heroes cartoon? Only watched one episode, and that was the Sonic the Hedgehog crossover. Other than that, I didn't really watch it. Did I watch the new Powerpuff Girls movie episode? No. I didn't like the art style. I didn't like the new idea. It was like Teen Titans Go all over again. Yes, I did watch Teen Titans Go, but after a while, it was like, this is stupid. I tried to watch the new Ben 10. I couldn't get into it. I didn't like the theme song. I liked the original. And then I might try to watch some new My Little Pony show, but some people say it's not as good as G4. But there you go. Those are most of the cartoons I watched growing up. Next time, we're going to talk about some of my favorite moments. Some of my favorite, actually, some of my favorite characters and side characters from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. I told you, as soon as I can think of something good, I'll talk about it. And no, this isn't going to go along with the whole side characters like Derpy Hooves and stuff like that. We're talking about side characters that were actually in episodes that made the cartoon good. Like, even we're going to include the main six. We're going to talk about why I like the main six, and how I like all the songs they sing, and we'll also talk about characters that made an appearance once, but were never seen again until later on in the series. If you like, subscribe, I'll see you guys on the next video.